Hola, D'Anthony Dantano here with the second coming of Musical Judgment. I already made one of these videos last year.
Don't watch it, it's bad.
Which I quite liked working on. So I wrote another shitty script that I read quite poorly to try and make an honest to god attempt at being a generic ass YouTuber at this time of year. If you disagree with me, I don't know, write an angry comment or something. Anyway, I don't want to drag this on for too long, so let's get started. After about 3 years worth of singles, Vildhjarta's long-awaited 7th studio album, Mother, finally released this year. They have such a weird track record of heaviness, going from what was basically deathcore to slightly softening up with their new vocalist Lucas, to go even harder at certain moments, though it's still a varied approach and not just heavy, which I greatly appreciate. Listening to albums on repeat for these videos gives me massive ear fatigue real quick, so that's a real nice change of pace. Mark Ogibo's riffs hit so fucking hard. This guy is just an absolute machine of a guitarist. The stuff he plays is so fucking technical, it hurts my fingers just by listening to it. That tremolo section synthwave Vegan is also just straight up evil, and I'm so down for that. But as a lover of dumb guy caveman riffs, I obviously also really enjoy the chugs throughout the album, of which there are many to be had. Vocally, I really dig the new direction Lucas is going in. Personally, I think he never sounded better. He's obviously super versatile in his approach. Great cleans, brutal gutturals, and banshee fries, the whole 9 yards. Also, the engineering really helps in making his screams sound visceral as fuck. Sadly, I don't know shit about drums, so I'm just gonna say it sounds good without going too into detail. Same thing with the synths, though I really like the atmosphere they build up. After the controversial lineup change in Vildhjarta's murder, it's safe to say that the new vocalist Tyler Miller, who was also in Aversion Crowns, is definitely pulling his weight. The dude sounds phenomenal. I saw them live earlier this year with Fit for an Autopsy, Whitechapel, and Spite, all of which are great bands, and if you haven't heard of them, please go check them out. So this might be a bit biased because I really enjoyed myself. They also really know how to put on a show, I'll have to give them that. Their death metal influences really show on this record. The guitar work is fucking stellar. Complex, yet really heavy and catchy. But still, caveman riffs go brr. You love to see it. Since they don't really use synths, they heavily rely on reverb and now a Digitech Whammy DT for ambience. Vocally, Tyler's not all too different from CJ, to be honest. At first, I didn't even notice that they changed lineups. I only found out through social media. Live performance was very, very good. Clearly knows what he's doing, and I'm very happy that he got a shot in Vildhjarta's murder. I'm really excited to see what he can bring to the band in the future. Animate is a really good example of a technically skilled band being extremely melodic, yet super heavy, without it all just mashing together and just sounding like a wall of indistinguishable noise. Heavener is an album I didn't get around to listen to when it first released. All I read about it was stellar reviews and praises about it being the album of the year. In my opinion, it's not, but it's up there. I still think it's an extremely enjoyable album without any skips from front to back. Their guitar work is fucking stellar. It really shows when you can go onto YouTube, type in Invent Animate, that riff, and there you go, a fuckload of covers of disgustingly beautiful riffs. They always had it, and they always will have it, as long as they keep their roster. But besides head and finger-breaking riffs, they really know when to take a back seat and simplify things. Less is sometimes more, you know? Besides, they tune low as shit down to double drop D at times and double drop D sharp. They also create a great atmosphere with the use of a vast amount of effects. There are so many techniques just thrown in all over the place. Pick slides, pinch harmonics, tapping, pick scrapes, dissonant chords for accents, or it's just the good old abuse of an open B string. Talking about serving a song. This dude really has every vocal tone under the sun at his disposal. Beat guttural, phrase screaming, though I'm surprised there's very little to no pitch screaming. Very few vocalists in general employ that style anyway. The only ones coming to mind would be Jamie Hale from Polaris or Sam Carter of Architects. To be honest, I quite enjoy his clean singing voice, so the calmer songs, like Without a Whisper, are a really nice break throughout the chaotic riffage. The follow-up album to the 2021 release Iridescent marks a hat-trick for Slantplant's latest album releases. In my opinion, this album also contains some of the best material they've ever written. The only thing I can really criticize is that some songs blend into each other tonally, meaning that you feel like you've been listening to the same breakdown for the last 7 minutes and kinda drags. And I say that as a person who loves breakdowns. Guitar-wise, I think the album is more than solid. All of the riffs are bouncy as fuck and it's harder than a truck. The temptation to punch drywall simply due to how hyped the riffs are is palpable. So in conclusion, more dumb guy riffs, more fun, more emotional breakdowns, more low-tuned guitars go brr. Garrett's vocals are as usual super tight, all around phenomenal. There's honestly not too much to say. I personally think he's one of the best vocalists in the game, so you can expect a great vocal performance with a handful of tasteful effect choices sprinkled throughout to make certain passages pop.
And I've always been ashamed that I wanna fall into a dream with my honor desecrated, blood is shaded. I've never found a way to be honest. All I know is a place where our haunted memories faded.
The 6-song EP following the previously released Rotoscope has been on my radar ever since The Void, the first single of the EP, dropped. Sonically, it's quite different to Rotoscope, which had a lot more focus on heavy synth leads and guitars tuned to drop Z. Don't get me wrong, they still tune pretty low, but instead of a double drop B, it's only in drop F sharp. Personally, I like Spiritbox's approach to a more melodic sound, which still has those stupid hard riffs compared to the extremely heavy. But don't think that it's only melodic songs. Celador and Angel Eyes are sure to be standard songs if you like the really heavy shit. Angel Eyes being very similar in style to Holy Roller. Jaded might be one of my favorite tracks they've ever released. Everything I love about Spiritbox in one song. Heavy as fuck riffs, great vocals, great drumming, phenomenal production. It's just an absolute 10 out of 10 song. Like Stringer, it's just too good at playing the damn guitar. Plus it's got great taste. That's all I've got to say, mate. As per usual, Courtney really ties up everything nice and neatly into one big melodic package. Russian supergroup Shrezzers, with the follow-up to their debut album Relationships, really hit it out of the park with this one. After a vocalist change, which sometimes kills bands, they got Diego Dia Silva into the mix, whom I could find nothing about, except that apparently was on the Peruvian version of The Voice, and that he has a YouTube channel. Regardless, after some delays in the release, which was originally planned to be in April 2020, then in January 2023, and then finally in February 2023, we got the new album with about 8 new songs, while the other 6 were released as singles as early as September 2020. It's the usual rocky, kinda genty approach to the guitars. The playing, besides the usual pretty rapid lead lines, is a lot more percussive, more akin to a John Brown than the usual shredding, which is pretty ironic for a band that used to be called Shredding Brezzers. Personally, I quite like Diego's voice on the new tracks, and I love the openness of Shrezzers to experiment with songs, Temperatura being completely in Spanish and the only featuring guitars and either a funky, quiet backing track in the chorus or the clean reverb lead lines during the verses. And I fucking love the saxophone, dude. I fucking love that. Honestly, I kind of forgot this came out in the beginning of the year. I thought it was released at the end of 2022, even though I've been listening to it throughout the year and even saw 1056 live at some point. Go see them if you get the chance, they're very good. 1056 is all around just a stupidly fun band. Yeah, most of their tracks are super depressing and angry, but in all honesty, it feels a lot more genuine than most deathcore/death metal bands, because usually it's just, oh, we play metal, so we have to make angry music all the time, with it feeling kind of forced. Well, 1056 is not only instrumentally heavy, but also in its thematics, be it addiction, abuse, self-hatred, or rapidly deteriorating mental health. Those guitars are stupid. The way they're mixed is so disgustingly low and heavy, it's not even funny. There are also frequent abuses of up and down pitching, a la anything Buster Otom does, really. Now, they're not the most technical band, but it's perfectly fine for the sound they're going for. Nothing overcomplicated, just simple and straight to the point heavy. Animate might be one of my favorite vocalists in the scene. The dude just has such a great vocal timbre, but what's new is that besides deathcore, there's also a lot of trap and R&B influences felt throughout the album, so there's not only screaming, but also rapping.
To live and die is another statistic. Oh, doesn't that sound sadistic? One more for the reaper. It's been hard on my tail, but I've been trying to dig a little deeper. 'Cause the pain don't feel like it used to feel. No, I say enough. I crave.
Polaris' fatalism is brimming with emotions, lyrically and musically. It's sad, it's angry, it's heartbreaking, yet hopelessly hopeful. Yeah, this is one of the few bands where I actually pay attention to the lyrics instead of just treating the voice as another instrument. Despite the tragic loss they had to go through, they still continue on making music instead of quitting and losing all they've worked so hard for over the years, for which I have a great deal of respect. Guitar-wise, it's stunning. There are so many great riffs throughout the album. The phenomenal atmosphere is nothing to scoff at either. The very tasteful leads and banger riffs got me playing this album on repeat. Lance Pranz really brings out the best of every band he works with, be it Alpha Wolf, Void Division, or Thornhill. Ryan and Rick are both great guitarists, very recognizable in their style, in their playing, and in their writing approach. They're probably also one of the more technical bands on this list without extremely overcomplicating things. It's still a bit weird to hear Jamie sing as much as he does on the album, as his cleans were very sparingly used throughout the last couple releases. Nevertheless, both Jake and Jamie are doing a great job delivering every word with the needed passion to make the lyrics hit as hard as they do. All in all, every member of this band is just an absolute machine that pulls this entire musical project together nice and tightly. Well, we've got some honorable mentions. Here are some releases I think are really, really sick, but I just couldn't write anything about them. Blame writer's block and the deadline.
This motherfucker don't miss.
For the new Vildhjarta, I'd like to mention their artwork is so fucking good, it's not even funny.
To
I mean, you've seen it in the thumbnail. That, and with a bit of deduction, you could have probably guessed what's coming in the #1 spot. Sleep Tokens take me back to Eden. The people who know me know that I cannot ever shut the fuck up about this band. They are without a doubt in my top 5 bands of all time. I've been in love with them ever since I first heard The Offering at the end of 2020. So, with Take Me Back to Eden, the final third of the album trilogy has concluded that started out in 2018 with the release of Sundowning, with the crazy explosion in popularity that Sleep Token had experienced back in the beginning of January, starting with the release of The Summoning, January 5th to be exact, going from about 300,000 listeners per month to roughly 2.3 million in the span of 2 months is unheard of, let alone for a weird underground prog metal mashup with so many different moving parts such as Sleep Token. Don't get me wrong, they always had and still have a crazy cult following, and they definitely weren't stagnating in listeners, but nobody could have predicted that to happen. The album is just a phenomenal showcase of blending styles from R&B to jazz to deathcore to black gaze, pop, electronics, and many, many more. They really know how to tug on my fucking heartstrings, though I really do dig all of their more poppy songs, Aqua Regia being my personal favorite off of the record. As stated earlier, I love dumb guy riffs, but I also love stupidly low-tuned dumb guy riffs. The Apparition will never fail to give me goosebumps when they actually hit that A string during the chorus. It's so hard to make a guitar tuned this low to sound good in a mix, so hats off to their producer. Also, just as a reference, the guitar is tuned to double drop A, not 7-string drop A, 9-string drop A, and A0. The lowest note on an 88 key piano. It is stupid, but I love it. Like, just listen to it, dude. Fellas, is it gay to have a crush on a man's voice? That's all I'm gonna say about that. Alright, this time I actually do have an opinion about the drums, albeit not a very controversial one. One that is parroted quite a bit actually. The drummer, too, is phenomenal. He hits that snare like it owes him money. That poor thing gets battered every time it sees the stage, but it's so damn worth it. The snare sounds like a fucking gunshot. It's so tight and crispy. It's practically an eargasm. 2 is, in my humble opinion, one of the best drummers in the scene. Hands down. Overall, I'm extremely happy with the album and the overall conclusion of the trilogy. All around, I'm super excited for what's to come in the future, if there even is a future for the band. First of all, I want to thank you if you've been sticking around until now. By the time this video comes out, it's also probably about to be 2024, so Happy New Year, I guess. I'll try to put one of these shitty videos out at the end of next year again. Also, I stream on Twitch Monday through Friday at twitch.tv/JacketFF. Actually, you know why I made this video? Not only as a continuation of last year's mistake, but also so I could flex my morally superior taste in music, you know, like an asshole.